I'm backing up again due to confusion about John's females. Alright? The one we're talking about in this video, the LDS print shop ripoff, for this moment, his stepdaughter from Nancy, who was wife number 2. Rebecca is wife number 1, and that's the daughter that put him in prison. Okay? Then that was Becky. The first, okay, wife 1, Becky, with daughter Karen, alright, which is my stepdaughter that came to my house from the commune, alright. Then his wife number 2 was Nancy, and his stepdaughter was named Robin. She was the one with somewhat talent, I understand, around the lake, and her little singing jobs she'd get and stuff. Okay, well, to some people that would be a pretty big deal, because Lake of the Ozarks isn't all that small. Alright, so I wanted to clear that up. I'm wife number 3. Alright, I've stuck with him. Alright, all these years. I'm the sticky one, I guess you'd say. And this little part about their, let me play it. He told me that he was told to go home and fulfill his fantasies on his stepdaughter. See where they lived at. Okay, he was to go home and fulfill his fantasies on his stepdaughter. And the court records I found, when the state defender's office told me to come down and get the files in 97, a lot of the stuff I was shocked about, because we didn't receive copies of it. People are supposed to get copies of it, you know, the concerned parties. And Marge Harlan, who's a shrink here, had sent in a paper on him where he had gone to counseling on his own to save his marriage number 2. And she put a little smiley face on it about having done flooding, the process called flooding, known as flooding. It's brainwashing. Alright. Told him during the session, using flooding, to go fulfill or live out the fantasies of his stepdaughter. Alright, and the part about the swimming pool, which is next, coming up, I didn't tie it in very clearly because sometimes in my mind I see details as unnecessary. If you can understand what I mean. He'd get in the pool. She'd have people over. They'd get in the pool. One of them was the daughter of this bunch that took our print shop, and they were big wheels with the LDS. Okay? They were all LDS. And he told me she would always come on to him, flirt with him in the pool, try, horseplay, just try and arouse him. You know how girls can be. Wearing, string bikini, letting it all hang out around the house. The mother drank, I was told she drank like a gallon of vodka every day. So they had a real humdinger going on out there. So I felt sorry for the guy. He had been set up. He rejected the daughter, went to counseling, tried to talk about it, what was going on at home. And the shrink's like telling him, well, go on, live it up, live a little, kick up your heels, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it was she said in session, I don't know, I wasn't there, but I can only imagine based on that person. Go home and do it. That's what she said. Can you imagine? So then, like I said in the prior video, which I'm confused now, I guess this one, rip-off one, that, oh, I don't know now. I get too wound up. I gotta go check my sausage. I'm fixing Brad and I some breakfast. Okay, well, I'm not quite sure where I left off. It was something about step people. Just so everyone realized I wasn't talking in circles. It's kind of a complicated thing. Alright? And hopefully pretty soon, after I get some more of these made, I'll do a rundown, recap, to make sure everybody's straightened out on the factoids. Because it's not my intent to confuse anyone. It's really not. I realize what a screwy mess it is anyway. And my mom was pretty much right that I would probably be sorry later on to get in with this bunch. But, see, the stepdaughter he had, Robin, never caused us any grief. Pretty much after it was over with that marriage. I mean, she showed up on the scene a couple times. She was at our first apartment one time in the yard yelling and stuff like that, but she was quite a lot older than he was, and I believe she's dead now. He had tried to get his war diaries from her, and the newspaper story picked up on it not long after he had started trying to get his stuff. And I mean, because those were his memoirs, some of them. He never did get them, though. I think how it went was that she had destroyed them, threw them out, something. But there was a little piece in the paper, local paper here about it. And I just never got in with anyone. Another sip off my soda. These people were all out of towners. I married someone from out of town. I dedicated my life to my house and my home and my family. And for some reason, that must be some kind of antique thing to do. Or they would have said, oh, sure, right, no problem. You stayed home. You were a stay-at-home. Like, on Leave It to Beaver. Mrs. June Cleaver. That kind of stay-at-home. But I didn't even have bridge parties to go to. You know? John and I would go to rummage sales, or we'd drive down to Coal Camp and eat at that little German restaurant there on the corner that used to be there. We'd have breakfast and come back sometimes. Or we'd take off up to the base after that got all straightened out, you know, for his benefits. I didn't even hardly spend any money here in town. Lumber and home repair stuff, normally we did buy here, a lot of it. Basically because of hauling it. Didn't want to have to haul it clear from, you know, more than 20 miles. Well, about 20 miles. So we'd go to the local lumber yard. We had two of them close to us downtown. And one of them might still be there. I really don't know. Maybe not. I just can't think. But yeah, it was my little life. Most definitely was my little life. And it's just not fair how it came about that all of a sudden I don't have one. It all went her way. I've mentioned this before. No, I'm not forgetful. I remember that I'd mentioned it before. And they cut our money off. Well, it was his Social Security, and back then it was $509 a month. And I don't know what it would be these days. But that was hurtful. And then they let that child support go and go and go. And I had paid on a little while, and probably have mentioned this too. But there was some kind of glitch that if we paid down here, we would need an attorney to validate that it was on the record up there. So I don't know what kind of scam that actually could have been, you know. Not saying it was or wasn't, but it pretty much leaves the door wide open if they can't explain that payments made are reflecting on the books. It smells like a scam, but whatever. I quit paying them. I didn't know, you know. I had no idea. I didn't know any of this junk. I got married when I was 23, and I still didn't know any of this junk. And we didn't have the internet until 97, so there was no way for me to find out about any of this junk. Slowly but surely, you know, I'm catching up, or it's catching up, whichever. And it's been hard on me. Tragically hard on us. Me and Brad both. Excuse me. And, the more I read sometimes, the more jaded I get. Just like the more you live, the harder you get sometimes. I didn't get to tell my side of it back there. I'll always maintain this, even from the beginning. When they duped us on our deposition. We were scheduled for a deposition. We got no deposition. So whatever we had to say got stifled. And no actual court thing. No trial. Of course, he pled out guilty, you know, which was his mistake. He could have pled no contest, at least, because in her mind, things happened how her mind told her they happened. Whether she had mind control at the commune or not. And that's beside the point. I kind of think she did, and she had mentioned her mother had related to her that she was supposed to put a wedge between us. And I laughed at her in her face. I related this before too. You know, it's not been easy. And I'll probably want to get this uploaded and start another one, because this one got chopped up so with breakfast this morning. And so I'll end this and start another one soon. Thanks for listening.